Hello, I'm Chaplain John Rollyson. Now, I made this video today to talk to you about the Air Force chaplaincy and specifically to answer the frequently asked questions that I've received about the qualifications for becoming a chaplain or a chaplain candidate. I've made a few other videos, perhaps you've watched them, and in those videos I gave my personal email address where people have contacted me, and we'll talk about the chaplain program or the chaplain candidate program. And a lot of the people that I talk to ask the same questions. And so I thought I would answer those questions and be as succinct as possible. You'll see me referring to my notebook so that I don't waste a lot of time because I am prone to ramble. And if you've ever talked to me in person, you know that that is the truth. So I want to be as concise as possible when I talk to you today. Now, probably, I don't want to say this is the question that I get the most, but it's a question I receive a lot, and that is, since we have, one of the qualifications for being a chaplain is that you have to come in before the age of 40. And I receive the question a lot, is there a waiver for that? And the answer that I always give to people that ask that question is to refer them to one of our Reserve Command chaplain recruiters. We have one in San Antonio and one in Warner Robins, Georgia. They're both outstanding chaplains and a wealth of knowledge. I'll actually put information links and below this video that you can go to and find out a lot of information. I do let people know that I have known chaplains that came in after the age of 40. They were able to get a waiver. Now what drives that, I do not know. I will encourage you, if you're in your late 30s and you're thinking about becoming a chaplain, go ahead and come on in now. You don't want to wait too long because it's just so much easier if you can come on in before you get to the age of 40. So, I hate it that the first frequently asked question that I mentioned is one that I really can't answer. But my answer is simply contact the Air Force recruiter. And the reason for that is, again, I'm not a recruiter. I'm simply a chaplain that loves to be a chaplain, loves to see good ministers come into the Air Force chaplaincy, or the other branch of services as well. Of course, I'm biased to the Air Force. But I encourage you to talk to the recruiters, because one thing, and I've been in the Air Force 26 years now, one thing that we learn is that things constantly change. And so what the rules were even 6 months ago might not be the same now. And it's very fluid, especially when it comes to recruiting. And the recruiters, the chaplain recruiters specifically, they will always have the most up-to-date information. And speaking of that, and I really can't emphasize this enough, if you're interested in becoming a chaplain, talk to a chaplain that's currently serving or the chaplain recruiter, who is also a chaplain that's currently serving, but specifically they recruit because chaplains recruit other chaplains, and they will have good information. A lot of the bad information comes from people who, they're not trying to tell you the wrong thing, they just don't know what they're talking about. And that's another thing that comes up a lot when I talk to people. They'll say, I have a friend that's a crew chief and she told me this, and it's like, well, that's not correct. And it's not that your friend was trying to tell you the wrong thing, it's just that she doesn't know what the qualifications are to be a chaplain. She was telling you what she heard, which was wrong. Now, as a chaplain, I certainly couldn't tell you anything about what a crew chief does except in general terms, and the same thing. Now, I'm just using crew chiefs as an example because I have a lot of great friends that are crew chiefs, but I hope you understand you always want to talk to somebody who's either in the career field or recruits people into that career field, and they'll have the current information, because again, people aren't trying to mislead you or tell you the wrong thing, they just don't know what they're talking about. So make sure you always talk to a chaplain or one of the chaplain recruiters to get the most current information. Now, another question that I receive a lot is, where should I go to seminary? And this is more specifically for chaplain candidates, and I think that's a great question. I share with everybody one of the most difficult decisions I ever made was where to go to seminary, because there were so many great choices. Now, a couple things that will help you narrow it down. One, if you're non-denominational, we'll get to that in a moment. But first of all, if you are part of a denomination, go to your denomination's seminary. They may have more than one, but pick one of those and go to it. For instance, I'm Southern Baptist, and I went to Southeastern Baptist Theological Seminary because it is one of the 6 Southern Baptist seminaries. Perhaps your seminary just has one. I don't know for sure, but I think the Assemblies of God Seminary has one seminary in Missouri, so I would encourage you to go to that one. Maybe you can't for different reasons. Maybe you can't move, you have a job, See if they have a distance learning program. But that is a word of advice I give you, not necessarily for the chaplaincy, but just for a minister. If you can, go to your denomination seminary. And then if you're not able to, then go from there, go to one that's of like faith. Because if you're non-denominational, what I encourage people, first of all, is what do you believe? Now, of course, I'm speaking specifically to Christians. Most of the people that I talk to are Christians. I have talked to some rabbis that want to become chaplains as well, and also some imams that want to become chaplains, and I know it's different. But for Christians that are non-denominational, what doctrine do you believe? And if you go to any Christian seminary's website, they'll have a link. It'll probably say what we believe, or statement of doctrine or doctrinal statement. Click on that, read what they believe, and make sure that it aligns with what you believe. And if it does, then that would be a great place for you to go. There are a lot of outstanding seminaries out there. Seminary will be one of the best experiences of your life. So I would encourage you to pray about it, seek God's guidance, and then just go to one that's like faith from where you're at. And you'll get expanded and broadened while you're there. You'll certainly learn a lot. But I think that's a good key. If you're non-denominational, just look at the seminary that has doctrine that you agree with. If there's something in their statement of doctrine that you can't agree with, or you think, well, I'm not quite there, then look at a different seminary. But there are a lot of really, really good ones out there. And but make sure, and I cannot emphasize this enough, make sure they are fully accredited. Unfortunately, there are a lot of good schools out there that aren't, but they're not accredited. And so you would not be able to use that degree to qualify you to get into any branch of the service. They need to be accredited with the Association of Theological Schools or with a regional or national accrediting organization that's recognized by the U.S. Department of Education. And you can find out that information on their website as well. It usually says accreditation. Click on that, and and you can read who they are accredited with. But that is extremely important as well. I'm speaking from experience because I actually started out at a school that was not accredited. I spoke to an Air Force chaplain. He explained that to me, and then I transferred schools to go to Southeastern so that I could make sure that my degree was accredited. So that's extremely important as well. And then probably the second or third question that I get the most is about being endorsed. To be a chaplain, age, fitness requirements, of course, education requirements, but another big requirement is you have to be what is called endorsed, which is not the same as being ordained. You have to be endorsed by a denomination. Now, if you're part of a denomination, just like picking a seminary, it's easy. Your denomination will endorse you. It's usually done through their mission board. You contact whoever the endorser is. They'll let you know all the information, what their requirements are, and you go through your denomination. Now, if you're non-denominational, they have what I refer to as endorsing ministries that can endorse you to be a chaplain. You can find a list of DoD approved endorsers on the internet. I think if you just Google DoD approved endorsers, you can find the list fairly easy. You can email me, I can send it to you. If you're in contact with the chaplain recruiter, they can send you that information as well. So look through the list of endorsers, and just like with picking a seminary for a non-denominational person, I would encourage you to read their doctrinal statement. And if it goes along with what you believe, then that will be a good place for you to be endorsed with. But I know as long as you pray about this and seek God's guidance, God will bless you and He will help you. And He'll lead you in the right direction. I have no doubt about that. Even somebody as clueless as me, He was able to help to get me into the chaplaincy because He called me to do this. And if He calls you, He will definitely equip you. Feel free to contact me at any time. I'll be happy to share with you where I personally think, I didn't want to necessarily put on the video, but I'll be happy to share with you where I personally think are the best seminaries to go to, just for different reasons. And I want to do that just because that's my personal opinion. A lot of what I share with you in this video is my personal opinion, but it's just the nature of the questions that I'm trying to answer. If I can help you in the future, or if you just need somebody to pray with you, feel free to contact me anytime, and I'll be happy to encourage you in that way. And I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have that I might not have talked about in this video. I wanted to keep it brief, under 10 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. But again, I'll put my email address below the video, so feel free to shoot me an email. A quick disclaimer, if you've emailed me in the past and I didn't respond, it's because it went to my trash folder. I need to get better at looking through that. I know sometimes if you're not If the person's not your contact, it'll automatically go into your trash or spam folder. So if that happened, my apologies. Email me again, and I'll try to do better about looking at that spam folder to pull out these emails from prospective chaplains. But God bless you, and I hope I hear from you soon, and I hope this video was able to encourage and help you.